Well, welcome to my channel. Sorry if it's been a long time for my regular subscribers. I've been kind of getting involved in a huge gardening project, and I've got spots, so I didn't really want to post, but here I am. It's manned. The Human Tumble Dryer, which is my title because I've got ADHD. I'm on the autistic spectrum, I've got social anxiety, and basically my brain just goes round and round. So that's hence the name. Welcome all. I'd just like to say first off that I'm not really a commentary channel. Hang on, I've just got to go and close the window because the other half's lit a bonfire. Just a sec. Men doing men stuff, what can you do? Yeah, so it's been a funny week. I was following Creepshow Art for a while, and I thought maybe she was just trying to be all things to all people, trying to sort of stand up for this and that and the other and so on and so forth. And then when I find out that she's been basically allegedly saying things on lolcow, and it's like someone who needs validation from everyone, and I actually feel quite sorry for her. I feel really sorry for her. And another person I feel really sorry for in a way is Jimmy Snow, because he's said on a number of occasions that he finds it really hard to make friends, but what he gets wrong is seems to be, although he is very good at pointing out things that are politically wrong and that, he doesn't seem to have a great deal of self-awareness. And so when he says he hasn't got many friends, and then he says that one of his friends, his dear friends, is Gabby Hanna, and then stands up for her, I'm thinking, well, how desperate do you have to be friends with really problematic people? Now, maybe he's just a nice guy and trying to give her the benefit of the doubt because of mental illness. And you can't be a saviour, though. That's the thing, you can't. You have to accept sometimes that people, however much you like them and you want to be their friend, they are not going to be the most constructive people to hang around with, put it that way. I know, I've been there, I've done that. I'm 50 years old, I've hung around with some extraordinarily two-faced people in my time, and it's made me very, very wary now. And I'm not talking about social media, I'm not talking about, well, there was some internet play in it, but maybe I'll do that with story time or something like that. But there was a huge realisation that my base instincts on someone were not great, and we'll just call that guy Jay. And he was part of the Impro community, and everyone loved him, and everyone said how lovely he was, and he turned out to be a bit of a snake. And that's real life, and that bled over into Twitter and Facebook, and somehow, and it could be him, it could be any of his friends about it, but at that exact same time that I called him out for being a bully, I got banned from Facebook. So make of that what you will. But like I said, people who seem nice on the surface, they usually want something from you, and or they want to use you to further their career or their reputation or whatever it is. But so bear that in mind if you get taken in by someone, and especially on YouTube where you really don't know that person. And even Jimmy himself has said, like, I'm a different person on YouTube than I am in real life. I think that's a pretty brave thing to say, and quite honestly, I do feel sorry for him. But having said that, he has recently come out as having autism, he won't say he's autistic, he says he has autism, like, I've got a third leg or a septic ear or something, but and he said he doesn't want people to say he is autistic. And that kind of goes against quite a lot of the autistic community, their identification. And so I thought that was a bit strange. But then he also goes along to say that he has to be forgiven for speaking bluntly or, being rude or whatever it is because of his autism. Now, I've told people straight up that I've got ADHD and autism, and I never got away with any of that shit. And I know it sounds bitter, but I don't think he should get away with it either. And coupling that with the fact that he's friends with Gabby Hanna, who I've already mentioned on my channel, who has ADHD and is blaming all of her shit behaviour on that, I really don't think that it's a good thing for influencers to blame all of their rudeness and vulgarity and just general bananasness on having ADHD. I'm taken ownership of my stuff, and I've still lost friends because they won't accept my apologies. And so I don't really know what to do. And now I just don't make friends at all because I don't know whether I'm going to be accepted for who I am, whether I'm going to say something wrong and what I'm going to have to, atone for later on. And I'm afraid that all the therapists I've had have been overly positive and bigging me up, and I don't think it's doing me any good. And quite honestly, if Gabby Hanna and Jimmy Snow have got therapists and they're doing the same to them, they might want to get rid of them and get somebody else. I'm not saying that they should do ABA, which is, I think it's called short for applied behavioural. I can't even say it now, but it's something to do with changing your behaviour if you're an autistic person. I don't think that's necessarily a helpful thing, but a bit of self-awareness, a bit of self-discipline, a bit of maybe talk to someone who is. I hate to say this, but sometimes you need to talk to someone who's neurotypical and say, look, what am I doing wrong? Because you can't just play the disabled card the whole time. It's not going to wash. It's not going to make you any friends, and in the long run, it's just going to be destructive and damaging. And I know that sounds like a really sort of self-defeating, self-deprecating, and ableist thing to say, but I do think that there are times which it's just not acceptable to use your neurodivergent status as a get out of jail free card. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And also the fact that Jimmy seems to stan Ethan over Trisha Paytas, and I never thought I'd ever mention Trisha Paytas and Ethan in H3. And I was like, my God, am I got onto myself into some shit here? But anyway, the fact that he's in Ethan's corner, kind of, I think it might be because Ethan is a reflection of him, that he's very focused. Ethan runs H3. He runs it like a business, and Jimmy Snow's got his new studio, and he's got employees and everything, and he runs that like a business. So I can see why they might have something in common, maybe. But and also I think Ethan has said that he's neurodivergent as well. I think he's just a prick, but that's just me. That's my opinion. All of this is my opinion, right? I think if you really want to look into what Jimmy Snow is really all about, and that is there are some book review channels. Savvy Writes Books is a very good way of dissecting of the whole Gabby Hanna, Jimmy Snow, Rachel Oates situation. And as an artist myself and neurodivergent, I see those two, Jimmy and Gabby, as people are putting stuff out there and they can't take criticism, and it is difficult if you're a creator and you're neurodivergent. If you've got ADHD, you've got rejection sensitivity disorder. So basically, everything anyone says about you, your output, or anything like that it hurts, and it really does hurt. But you have to learn to deal with that, because if you're going to put something out there, you've got to expect shit back. That's the name of the game, and that's what Savvy says very eloquently. Because I've got like an MA in art, and I'm not boasting about it, but I went through a lot of art crits, and I had to learn to toughen up. And I used to write and put things out there, and I've recently met someone who I'm going to do a writing project with, and hopefully we're going to form a band together, and yeah, I'm going to get her to crit my stuff as well. So, you know, I think at the end of the day, you've got to, you know, your work is important to you. I get it. It's personal to you. It's a big deal, you know, especially if you don't do a regular job and everything else. Which, you know, I mean, being a professional artist, I kind of think, well, what if I just had a regular job, and then I wouldn't have to deal with this shit, and I could just like go home at the end of the day and I could just be anonymous or whatever it is. But I've had criticism on my general work as well, and I just don't really fit into a general work environment. So I can see how being a creator is an attractive option for people who are neurodivergent. I really can, because you've got to be, you can be your own boss, you can pursue your own passions, but at some point you've really got to not take things to heart so badly, and you know, just grow up. You know, I know maybe it's just going to take them a bit of time. I mean, I'm 50 now, and I still get upset when people criticise my stuff, but not nearly as bad as I used to. And it's because sometimes you go, why should I even bother? But actually, criticism's good. Apathy is worst. And it's, you know, you wouldn't be on YouTube making videos if you didn't want any feedback at all. So, you know, if you've got no subscribers and if you've got no feedback and that, then that's worse, because it's apathy, and apathy is, I find, as an artist and creator, apathy is far worse than criticisms. You know, I'd rather somebody say something bad about me and say nothing at all, because at least somebody's talking about you, you know, as the saying goes. But you're not the greatest thing since sliced bread. Other people have done things better than that before you. Other people are going to do what you do better afterwards, and other people are going to do better than what you do while you're doing it. And you're going to have fans and you're going to have detractors, and that's just the way it is. Not everyone's going to like you, and I think Hopeless Speeches did a video recently that I've just watched, because I'm trying to sort of like have a look at the aftermath of the Creepshow Art thing, and see what's what these creators that she was dissing are actually like. And she seems quite nice, actually. She seems quite decent. I mean, but again, that's another artist who had to take a good long look at themselves and say, look, you know, I can't let what people say about me get to me. It's a very dangerous situation. So if you're an artist and that's your life and that's what you do and that's what you're committed to and that's what you love doing, and you don't have any other job and you put all your heart and soul into it, like, obviously, you know, this is, Jimmy posts like nearly every day, you know, and he's got a studio and all. He's invested a heck of a lot of this, and he gets very upset and he's always constantly posting polls on his community tab saying, should I do this, should I do that, do you like this or do you like that? And then he posts things like, oh, I'm going to give this up if it doesn't work, etc, etc. Now, a lot of people would say, well, he's just milking that for attention, but I think he genuinely sometimes just gets a dark night of the soul, and wants to chuck it all in. And, you know, artists do that, you know, we get depressed about shit, but sometimes you've got to look at that and say, well, actually, you know, you just take the rough with the smooth, and take the good and build on it, take the bad and grow from it. Yeah, take the good, take the bad, and, you know, compartmentalise it. Put it in like a little slot in your mental library. Say, oh, this is for this and this is for that, and I might come back and look at that later, or I might come back and look at that later. But the worst thing you can do is act impulsively and let your your emotional brain and your amygdala and that sort of jump in and say, oh, I'm going to do something really rash, because sometimes it's better to just take a step back. Maybe go and watch your favourite sitcom or something, just to ground yourself, stroke the cat, or read your favourite book, or watch your favourite cartoon, whatever it is. Like, I mean, look at this. Like, I've still got some really silly plushies, right? And if I ever feel really rubbish, I'll just get those down and like play with them or whatever. I might go and watch some cartoons or what. I don't care. I don't care if I'm a grown adult. I'll just take myself away in a lovely little a comfortable place that I feel is kind of mine. It's my little hideaway. But you can't have your hideaway can't be where the public is going to see you. Sometimes you're just going to have to step back from that and get a bit of self-awareness. Just have a look at yourself. Don't be hard on yourself, but just say, well, I am neurodivergent. It's going to cause problems with people, but sometimes the problems are me just being an arsehole. You've got to say that. You've got to say that, and not in a kind of like public way, so that it's going to get people's sympathy. You've just got to say, no, I was wrong, or no, I'm going to think about it a bit more, or whatever it is. But don't use being neurodivergent, autism, ADHD, OCD, bipolar, whatever it is. Don't use that as an excuse, because the more you do that, the harder it is for people who are really trying to meet the world halfway. A little bit give and a little bit of take. It's harder for people like that, because everyone's going to then paint everyone who's got a disorder as just being rude, insufferable, arrogant, selfish, uncompromising git, and we're not all like that, and it really does paint us in a bad light. So my advice to people is, it doesn't matter how famous you are, you're not infallible. For one, you're not a god. You have no right to be a control freak, and you are surrounded by human beings, and if you have trouble with dealing with human beings, then you need to go off and have a breather, get away from them for a couple of minutes or whatever it is. Don't keep going back to it and back to it and back to it, picking a sore, because that doesn't make things any better. Trust me, it really, really doesn't. And just have a little self-reflection. It's good for everybody, no matter who you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what gender you are, no matter what you're suffering from. A little bit of distance from the situation and a little bit of self-reflection works wonders, and I think that works for everybody. So yeah, just have a word with yourselves is all. Right, well, that's it. If you like what you've just witnessed, me rambling into the void, do subscribe, and I usually post more often than this. It's just that I haven't had the house to myself, and it's been a little bit busy around here, and also the hot weather has been making me very tired and not really up to it. So, but I promise you there will be more content. You see, as I have worked on the my surroundings a little bit. This isn't my usual setup. I just got the phone out to do this, but I haven't got my ring light, and the other half made a thing on his 3D printer for me to stick the ring light on one of my microphone stands, and I as soon as I put it on there, I broke it. So so there's that. So it's still a work in progress in here, and I hope you like Flat Eric. He's great. If you don't know who Flat Eric is, I'm sure you can probably go and find him on YouTube. But yeah, it's part of my 90s upbringing, and up there is you can't see it, but that's Alf, and he's wearing one of my dad's ties, and my dad sadly passed away um when I was I was what, 30s. I'm 50. Sorry, probably far too old to be doing this, and you're probably not going to listen to me anyway. So, oh well, there it is. So yeah, if you want to take advice from a non-binary neurodivergent old git like me, carry on watching. Like I said, subscribe. I haven't got a Patreon. I haven't got a Twitch. I've got Instagram, AC Cox Artist, if you fancy having a look at some of my work. I haven't done much recently because COVID means I haven't had any shows, so I don't really feel like making any new paintings and that. But there's pictures of cats there, and I'm doing some pottery, which I'm going to sell in the local markets and things, hopefully. Yeah, and also I'll talk about any old shite. Really. And as soon as I get around to working out to live streaming, I'd love to chat to you weirdos out there, So that's it from me now. It's gone 20 minutes, and I think most of you have got an attention span of a gnat. So I'll leave it for now, and take care of yourselves, and stay groovy. Ta-da.